What if I told you that over 75 million seniors in the United States are currently struggling with high blood pressure, and many of them are doing exercises that actually make their numbers spike dangerously higher? Take Harold, a 69-year-old retired engineer from Ohio. Determined to drop his blood pressure naturally, he started jogging every morning. He would push through 20 grueling minutes, come home exhausted, and immediately wrap the cuff around his arm. The monitor read 175 over 100. Harold was terrified, thinking his heart was failing. What Harold didn't understand is basic human physiology. During intense cardio, blood pressure naturally surges as the heart pumps harder. That spike is temporary. Measuring right after a run causes unnecessary panic. More importantly, choosing the wrong type of high-impact exercise puts excessive stress on rigid blood vessels without providing long-term arterial benefits. Today, you'll discover 3 clinically proven exercises that systematically lower systolic blood pressure by 10 to 15 points, and you can do the first one while sitting comfortably in your favorite armchair. Before we dive into the 3 targeted exercises that will change the way you manage your health, we need to uncover the core medical reason why these routines are so extraordinarily effective. Why is it that so many seniors, even those taking multiple daily medications, still struggle with stubborn, elevated systolic numbers? The answer lies in a vital biological mechanism known as arterial compliance, or simply put, the flexibility and elasticity of your blood vessels. To picture how this works, imagine a standard rubber garden hose hooked up to a spigot in your yard. When you turn the water on high, the walls of the hose naturally expand to absorb that sudden rush of pressure. The fluid flows smoothly because the vessel stretches to accommodate the volume. Now, imagine leaving that same garden hose sitting out under the blazing summer sun for 20 or 30 years. Over time, the rubber degrades. It grows brittle, stiff, and rigid. When you turn the water tap on full blast, that old hardened hose cannot stretch anymore. What happens inside? The internal fluid pressure spikes dramatically because the container itself refuses to yield. This exact transformation happens inside the human circulatory system as we age. Your arteries were designed by nature to be elastic shock absorbers. Every single time your heart beats, it surges fresh blood into your system. Healthy, flexible arteries briefly expand to cushion that pressure wave, then gently recoil to push the blood along. This natural elasticity keeps your resting blood pressure in a safe, normal range. Unfortunately, due to a combination of natural aging, microscopic inflammation, oxidative stress, and years of high systemic pressure, arterial walls slowly lose their springiness. In the medical world, this hardening process is known as arterial stiffness. When your arteries become as rigid as PVC pipes, your heart has no choice but to slam against that resistance, pumping far harder just to force blood through immobile channels. This resistance is the primary driver behind why your top number, your systolic blood pressure, tends to creep higher and higher with every passing decade. Many seniors assume that once their arteries stiffen up, the damage is permanent. They believe their only option is to accept higher medication doses for the rest of their lives. But modern cardiovascular science has proven that assumption entirely wrong. Your blood vessels are dynamic, living tissues. The innermost lining of your arteries, a microscopic layer called the endothelium, is remarkably responsive to physical cues. When subjected to the right kind of targeted physical stimulation, your endothelium releases natural biological compounds known as vasodilators, including a crucial molecule called nitric oxide. These natural compounds act like biological keys, signaling the smooth muscle around your blood vessels to relax, expand, and stretch. The 3 exercises we are revealing today are specifically engineered to harness this exact mechanism. They are not designed to burn hundreds of calories or exhaust your joints. Instead, they apply precise, controlled physical feedback that actively retrains your stiff blood vessels to expand and regain their youthful elasticity. Rebuilding arterial compliance takes time, typically 8 to 12 weeks of consistent practice, but the long-term payoff is profound. Clinical studies show that restoring vessel flexibility can lower your systolic blood pressure by 8, 12, or even 15 points permanently. That is an impact comparable to a full prescription dose, achieved entirely naturally, safely, and without a single pharmaceutical side effect. Now, let's explore the very first exercise in our protocol, an exercise so simple you can practice while sitting comfortably in your living room chair. Now, let's move into the very first exercise of our routine. This technique often surprises people because it looks almost too easy to work. You don't even have to stand up or break a sweat. It is called isometric hand grip training. When most seniors hear the phrase exercise for high blood pressure, they picture spending grueling hours on a treadmill or riding a stationary bike until they are completely exhausted. But modern cardiovascular science has uncovered a remarkable truth. Holding a static, steady contraction in your hands, known as an isometric hold, is one of the fastest ways to stimulate your blood vessels and lower resting blood pressure. How can simply squeezing an object in your hand drop your blood pressure across your entire body? It all comes down to a fascinating physiological chain reaction triggered by the muscles in your forearms. When you grip a hand device or a firm ball and hold it steady, the muscles in your forearms contract and stay tight. This sustained tension gently squeezes the tiny blood vessels passing through your arm, temporarily reducing blood flow to that local area for a brief couple of minutes. Your body is equipped with brilliant automatic monitoring systems. When sensors inside your circulatory system detect that blood flow in your arm has been temporarily restricted by muscle tension, your body prepares to compensate. The exact second you release your grip, blood rushes back into those forearm vessels. This release triggers a powerful biological phenomenon known as reactive hyperemia. Your body floods your bloodstream with a massive surge of natural chemical relaxed state compounds, most notably nitric oxide. This natural compound doesn't just open up the blood vessels in your hands and arms, it circulates throughout your entire body, sending a systemic signal for your major arterial walls to dilate, relax, and soften. When practiced regularly, this repeated cycle of controlled tension and release acts as a workout for your blood vessels. Over time, arterial stiffness decreases, sympathetic nerve activity calms down, and your resting blood pressure drops. In fact, clinical research supported by the American Heart Association shows that consistent isometric hand grip training over 8 to 12 weeks can lower systolic blood pressure by 10 to 15 points. So, how do you perform this isometric hand grip protocol correctly at home? Here is the official 4-step method. Choose your tool. You don't need expensive equipment. You can use a digital hand grip trainer, a standard tennis ball, or a firm foam stress ball. Find the right intensity. This is the most important rule. Do not squeeze as hard as you can. You want to grip at roughly 30 to 40% of your maximum strength. You should feel a firm muscle resistance, but your hand should not be shaking heavily or feeling strained. The 2x2 timing pattern. Hold a steady, continuous squeeze for 2 minutes, release your grip, and rest completely for 2 minutes. Repeat this cycle for 3 to 4 total rounds per session. The whole routine takes less than 15 minutes. Weekly frequency. Practice this routine just 3 days per week, with at least 1 rest day in between sessions. One crucial safety warning. While holding your grip for those 2 minutes, never hold your breath. Holding your breath during resistance exercises causes a sudden spike in chest pressure, known as the Valsalva maneuver, which temporarily pushes blood pressure dangerously high. Keep your breathing steady, normal, and relaxed throughout the entire squeeze. The best part about hand grip training is its sheer convenience. You can complete your entire session while sitting comfortably in your favorite recliner, watching the evening news, or reading a book. Now that we've explored how hand grip training mechanically restores flexibility to your blood vessels, it's time to move on to our second exercise. This technique works directly on your brain's central stress control center and your nervous system. It is called diaphragmatic belly breathing. Most of us rarely think about how we breathe throughout the day, yet your breathing pattern plays a massive role in regulating your daily blood pressure readings. Take a moment right now to pay attention to your own breath. As you inhale, does your chest rise and fall while your stomach stays completely flat? If so, you are not alone. Over time, most adults unknowingly develop a habit of shallow chest breathing, known in medicine as thoracic breathing. When you take shallow breaths from your upper chest, your lungs never fully expand downward. Your brain interprets this rapid, shallow intake of air as a subtle sign of danger or stress. As a result, your sympathetic nervous system, your body's internal fight or flight alarm system, stays stuck in a continuous state of low-grade activation. When your sympathetic nervous system is switched on, your body pumps out stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones signal your blood vessels to constrict and force your heart to beat faster. For a senior managing high blood pressure, living in this state of constant nerve tension is a primary reason why your numbers stay stubbornly elevated even if you are eating light and taking your medications. This is where diaphragmatic breathing acts as your body's natural circuit breaker for stress. When you breathe deeply into your lower abdomen, your diaphragm, the dome-shaped muscle located at the base of your lungs, contracts and moves downward toward your stomach. This physical movement of the diaphragm applies direct physical stimulation to a very special nerve pathway called the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the main superhighway of your parasympathetic nervous system, the branch responsible for your body's rest and digest recovery mode. When the vagus nerve is stimulated by your downward expanding diaphragm, it instantly shoots bioelectric signals to your brain and heart. This signal sends an immediate command: slow down the heart rate, relax tight arterial walls, and curb the production of stress hormones. The immediate effect is remarkable. Clinical studies demonstrate that practicing diaphragmatic breathing for just 5 to 10 minutes can lower your systolic blood pressure by 5 to 10 points almost instantly. When done consistently every day, this calming effect trains your baseline resting blood pressure to stay lower permanently. So how do you practice the 4-2-6 vagal breathing pattern correctly at home? Here is the step-by-step guide. Get comfortable. Sit in a comfortable armchair with your back supported and relaxed, or lie down flat on your bed. Hand placement. Place one hand gently on your chest and your other hand on your belly, right below your rib cage. These hands will act as your visual guide. Inhale, 4 count. Slowly inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Focus on filling your belly with air like a balloon. The hand on your stomach should rise, while the hand on your chest should stay relatively still. Hold, 2 count. Pause and hold your breath gently for 2 seconds. Exhale, 6 count. Slowly exhale through slightly parted lips for 6 seconds, letting your belly fall back inward.
The key secret: your exhale must be longer than your inhale. That extended 6-second exhale is the precise trigger that stimulates the vagus nerve most effectively. Practice this pattern for 5 to 10 minutes every day, ideally first thing in the morning and right before bed. It requires no equipment, costs nothing, and gives you immediate control over your nervous system.
Now that we've covered how to mechanically expand your blood vessels with hand grip training and calm your central nervous system through diaphragmatic breathing, it's time to move to our third exercise. This movement is the absolute gold standard for building long-term cardiovascular resilience, the interv walking protocol. Walking is by far the most popular and accessible form of exercise for American seniors. It is low cost, easy to do, and gentle on aging knees and hip joints. However, here is the major problem millions of seniors face every day. The way most people walk does very little to lower their blood pressure. Many seniors take a daily walk through their neighborhood or park for 30 to 45 minutes, but they stay at a very leisurely, constant speed, similar to window shopping at the mall. Moving your body is always better than sitting still, of course, but if your specific goal is to bring down a stubborn systolic blood pressure reading, walking at a flat, unchanging pace simply does not supply enough physiological stimulus to change the structure of your arteries. On the other end of the spectrum, running or jogging can be far too harsh on senior joints and often cause a sharp, dangerous spike in blood pressure during the workout. So what is the middle ground? The answer is interval walking. This protocol works by combining 2 distinct walking speeds in alternating bursts, switching back and forth between a brisk, purposeful stride and a comfortable recovery pace. Why is this shift in pace so powerful for your circulatory system? A landmark study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine uncovered a staggering fact. Seniors who followed a structured interval walking routine reduced their systolic blood pressure by an average of 12 points, double the improvement of those who walked continuously at a steady, moderate pace. From a medical perspective, changing your speed places a unique, alternating wave of fluid pressure against your arterial walls. When you pick up your pace, your heart pumps with greater force, creating a beneficial pressure wave that signals the lining of your blood vessels, the endothelium, to produce a surge of nitric oxide. Then, when you slow down into your recovery pace, your blood vessels dilate and rest. This pattern of challenge and recovery actively retrains your heart's efficiency and restores elasticity to your arteries, far faster than steady walking ever could. So, how do you perform the senior interval walking protocol safely at home? Here is the 30-minute daily structure. Warm-up phase, 5 minutes. Begin with an easy, casual walk to lubricate your joints, raise your core body temperature, and gently prepare your heart. Main interval phase, 20 minutes total. 2 minutes of brisk walking, around 70% effort. Walk with a clear purpose. Pump your arms gently and stand tall. You should feel slightly breathless, but still able to speak a short sentence without gasping for air. Then, 2 minutes of moderate walking, around 50% effort. Slow down to a relaxed pace to catch your breath and allow your heart rate to settle back down to a resting level. Repeat this 2-minute fast, 2-minute recovery cycle 5 total times. Cool down phase, 5 minutes. Finish with a light, easy stroll to bring your heart rate and blood pressure smoothly back down to resting levels. Practice this interval walking routine 3 days per week, leaving at least 1 full rest day between sessions. Important safety tip for beginners. If you have been sedentary for a long time or are just getting back into physical activity, do not jump straight into intervals. Spend the first 4 to 6 weeks building a baseline fitness foundation with regular, steady pace walking. Once your legs and cardiovascular system feel comfortable, gradually start adding these brisk 2-minute intervals to your routine. We have covered the 3 most effective science-backed exercises to lower high blood pressure naturally. Isometric hand grip training to restore elasticity to rigid blood vessels, diaphragmatic breathing to calm your central nervous system, and interval walking to strengthen your entire cardiovascular system. Now comes the most important step. How do you combine these 3 exercises into a simple, hassle-free daily routine, and how do you practice them safely alongside your current medical care? The first principle to remember is that consistency matters far more than intensity. Practicing these gentle routines regularly at moderate effort yield vastly superior long-term results for your arteries compared to pushing yourself too hard once in a while. Structural changes in your blood vessels take time. Your body requires continuous, gentle stimulation to adapt. Generally, you can expect to see noticeable, sustained drops in your systolic readings after 8 to 12 weeks of consistent practice. Here is a simple weekly blueprint. Every morning, upon waking, spend 5 to 10 minutes in bed or in a comfortable chair practicing diaphragmatic breathing using the 4-2-6 pattern. This sets a calm, relaxed tone for your nervous system to start the day. Afternoons, 3 days a week, complete your 30-minute interval walking protocol, outdoors or on a treadmill, on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Evenings, 3 days a week, practice your 15-minute isometric hand grip training, 4 rounds of 2-minute squeezes with 2 minutes rests while relaxing in your armchair on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Now, let's address a critical medical safety priority: how this protocol works alongside your blood pressure medications. It is easy to fall into an all-or-nothing mindset, believing you must choose between taking pills for the rest of your life or abandoning medicine entirely for natural methods. That approach is unnecessary and can be dangerous. This 3-part routine is not meant to abruptly replace your prescription drugs. Instead, it is designed to work alongside medical treatment to enhance your overall results. Exercise provides the natural stimulus your blood vessels need to regain flexibility, while your medications keep your numbers in a safe range as those physical adaptations take place over time. The golden rule of medical safety: never stop, reduce, or alter your prescribed blood pressure medication without direct approval from your doctor. Stopping blood pressure medications suddenly can cause a dangerous spike known as rebound hypertension, which significantly increases the risk of a heart attack or stroke. The safest, most effective approach is to become an active partner with your healthcare team. Keep a simple daily blood pressure logbook at home. Take your readings every morning at the same time in a calm state and write the numbers down. As you stick to this 3-exercise protocol over 2 to 3 months, you will likely notice a steady downward trend in your readings. Bring that logbook to your next doctor's appointment. Show them the clear, objective evidence of your progress. When your physician sees that your resting blood pressure is consistently lower and more stable, they can evaluate your numbers and safely guide you in reducing your medication dosage step by step. Taking control of your cardiovascular health is entirely within your reach through the grip of your hands, the cadence of your breath, and the steps you take every day. If you found value in this guide, please share this video with friends or loved ones who are managing high blood pressure and subscribe for more clear, evidence-based health guidance.